I want to say thank you to Heidi and the entire Intermitten crew. My goodness, what a great event you guys put on. And Casey, thank you for all your help. And thank you all in advance for the gift of your very precious attention to me on this stage right now. So my name is Karin Korb, and just like he said, I work a very small position in policy and public affairs at a nonprofit foundation. And like Doug said earlier, he said, I don't know government and I don't know any of that. He goes, but I do know software. Well, I'm the opposite. I know NGOs and governments and municipalities, and I know nothing about software except what I know about my iPhone. Thank you very much. So let us talk about accessibility, intersectional identities in the workplace. This entire time I've been sitting in the audience, and I'm like, wow. Look at all these brilliant people and all these amazing conversations and all of these startups and technology people and people who are running businesses. And what is missing from the conversation so often when we talk about inclusion is disability. Insert eye roll. Now, our ladies that spoke before me, Chanel and Joanna, their title was Inclusion is Hard as... Bleep. I curse, so if I say a bad word, I'm sorry. I'm originally from Germany, and an American dream, and we immigrated to New Jersey. So let us discuss for a moment how I keep the Jersey personality contained, specifically and especially because I live in the Deep South now. Bless her heart. Yeah, while I punch you in the face. Great. So this is a very difficult conversation sometimes, but Doug also talked about this earlier. If you start it from the beginning, it's not that hard. It really is top down, and what is the leadership buy-in, and I'm always policing boards and staff. So my question to you right now is, when you look at your companies, even if you're a company of one, who are you sourcing to be part of your teams? And are you looking at people with disabilities to be part of those teams? We are the largest population, the largest oppressed and marginalized population in the entire world. But oh my God, you're like, oh, hey, little disabled girl, that's nice. I'm really inspired by you for simply existing. Thanks so much for discounting the last 35 years of my life. I am not 35. I'm pretending to be 35, but I've been doing this work for approximately 35 years. So these are just a couple, let me get closer because of course I don't have my glasses or my contacts in or my reader peepers, so we'll go over here a little bit. Oh, because for sure I can't see that. For those of you who have not been on this stage, it's like, oh no. So I do a lot of work in built inclusive environments and change policy and inclusion, and I am like a broken record, for those of you who still know about records, about including people with disabilities. 1 in 4 people have a disability. So if we count it off right now, surely there would be someone in this room that may not have a discernible, visible disability, but you have an invisible disability. And I went to a conference not too long ago in San Francisco, it's the Smart Recruiters Conference, and what I noticed in the entire audience, I was like, oh, look at all these neurodiverse people. That, for the most part, we don't create an opportunity for people to identify as having a disability, because historically the narrative has always been a narrative of shame and a narrative of fixing. And when you talk about fixing, you see the population as broken. We're not broken. We're just different. Okay. So again, I work at Lakeshore Foundation. We do things through 3 pillars: activity, research, and advocacy. We have a very powerful research collaborative with the University of Alabama. I know y'all are feeling my pain about living in Alabama right now, especially my very powerful feminists in the room. The exit strategy has begun. Anyway, and I had lovely conversations with so many people, and like, who knew that Michigan was so bamming? My goodness, look at everything that you guys are doing. Like, it's really mind-blowing. And congratulations on all of your success. I mean, it's still growing and we're still moving and there's so much work to do, but wow, you guys are doing a really great job. So I commend you all for all of your work. So take a look at these numbers. Wow. Approximately 1 billion people live with a disability globally. Wow, you know, and if we had $1 to spend, where are we choosing to spend the money? Because I have money to spend, and if I can't access your website, and I'm not talking about 508 compliance here, I'm just talking about basics. Do I feel included? So the previous presenter, she had on video, and he talked about why he doesn't go to after-work networking things. I am that. I don't do that either. It is too emotionally taxing for me to constantly have to explain myself in a space when you're the only one. And also, after-work networking, guess what kind of tables they have at the bar? And if you have ever or never eaten a sandwich or had a martini off the seat of a chair where someone's ass just was, you haven't lived properly. Okay, so you look at our minority group, and where am I? 13 minutes, oh my God. Focus, Karin. All right, so our group is ever evolving, especially as a result globally. I do a lot of work with the United Nations, heading there next week with the Women Refugee Commission, specifically around women with disabilities. And you're look at what's going on with our children. You know, for some of you, this is common knowledge, and for a lot of you, it might not be what we're doing in our world. But because of armed conflict and what's happening in our own neighborhoods, we have people with disabilities. Like, here's the thing. You know, you're either born with a disability, you age into disability, or you have an accident. So how about we start preparing for that, right? We have another powerful population, it's the aging population. And you know what? By the way, they got all the cash right now. So you may want to pay attention to that, right? Okay. So, inclusion. We've got a couple definitions here about inclusion. It's not a strategy to help people fit into the systems and structures which exist in our societies. Y'all can read. It's about creating a better world for everybody, but what does that mean? Okay. Very specifically. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm talking this way. I'm not paying attention to all of you beautiful people over here. And he's right. Like, these lights are very blinding. I feel like a star. Okay, so you want to presume competence. What happens when you see someone with a disability? Are you assuming competence? No. You're usually coming up to me with the full-blown head tilt, like, how are you doing today? And then you talk to me like I'm 6. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then New Jersey Karen is behind the wall in her head, like, I'm about to check them out, right? Okay. That we're recruited and welcome as valued members of the community and to fully participate. This is nothing that the other speakers haven't addressed. Everybody wants to feel welcome in the space. There's so much that we have to offer. And I'm not talking about hiring people with disabilities that are not competent in the space. You know, tokenism is what it is, but don't just have someone with a disability on your board or your staff because. Don't just have someone who's black or gay on your staff because you just don't have it. I can't even give props for, well, Karin, it's a start. No. How about you do a little Google search? Huh. Right? Okay. So, little basic Google search, how about that? Okay, so intersectionality, I would be remiss if I did not elevate Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw in this space. Very often we talk about intersectionality, but we never acknowledge the super uber goddess that stepped into this space and created all of it, right? And so it's about feminist philosophy and culture change, and it's about when we look at people, and the ladies earlier talked about, you know, what is that white privilege? You know, that has been our system. That is still our system. But there are intersections to different. So I am up here with a whole lot of privilege. There is also a caste system within the disability infrastructure. Blind people don't want to be deaf people don't want to be blind, amputees don't want to be spinal cord injured, single-leg amputees don't want to be double amputees don't want to be quadriplegics don't want to be paraplegics don't want to be quadriplegics, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And it's always about this better than mentality. Like, my disability is better than your disability. But I will say, when I got handed out the disabilities, I got a good one, right? However, that does not negate that we are all in this together. Those of us with disabilities, I'm sitting up here, I'm a white woman with education, I have a job, I have health insurance, I have transportation. That is not, absolutely, unequivocally, not the reality for my brothers and sisters at all. So very often what I do in this space is I create the lane. Erin earlier asked me down below, she asked me, how can I be a better ally? You are all allies in this space. Start having deeper conversations and have those conversations with people who identify as disabled. Have the conversation with people who identify as indigenous. Have the conversation with people who are gay. Have the conversation with people who are trans. Now, guess what, my lovely people? In every one of those populations, there are disabled people. I have global colleagues who identify as disabled and trans, disabled and gay, disabled and black, disabled and amputees, disabled and white, disabled and femme, disabled and gender nonconforming. But even within those groups, people with disabilities are not always invited into the space. Recently I was doing some work with LGBTQIA plus community, and there was an issue with one of our kids on the team, and I said, you know what, maybe I want to go to the acceptance center. And what I didn't do the due diligence to check the access of the acceptance center. Can you imagine, you're a struggling teen, you are intersectional, you're multiply marginalized, you're feeling like shit about your life, you don't know how to come out to your parents in Alabama. That was a big eye roll, my eyes almost got stuck up there. And then you go to your peer group or where you think you're gonna be accepted, and guess what happens? Basics, can't even get in the building. Not cool, people. You know what happens as a result of that sometimes? The weight is so heavy. The weight that you carry is so heavy emotionally that you don't want to be here anymore. These are our barriers. Oh, I know you guys are so shocked about that, right? Look at that. Bias, purposeful exclusion, forced intimacy. Does anybody have any idea what forced intimacy is? No. Okay, so it's a term from Mia Mingus, and Mia Mingus, Miamingus. I would highly encourage you all to follow her. Forced intimacy, and let me give you an example of that, is when I go somewhere, and we're talking basics, okay? I'm just talking about architectural barrier right now. I go somewhere, the meeting's on the second floor, there needs to be a key to the elevator, stair, hallway, something, right? I gotta find the dude or the chick that's got the key, right? It's 7 o'clock at night, and I'm roaming the building. Maybe I find the person with the key, maybe I don't. Very important meeting, can't go upstairs, right? Let's just pretend I find the person with the key, real story. And do you know, here's gonna be my bias, about sometimes at night in Alabama, who the key holder is not a non-scary individual, I will tell you right now. So we have scary individual, woman in a wheelchair, feeling very vulnerable, I gotta get to the meeting, this person has the key. So now the person is holding the key, and he asked me lots of questions about my life. Am I married? Do I have sex? Do I have children? No joke, people. This is every day at the Walmart. Are you kidding? Whole Foods, everywhere. Y'all don't even know. Right, Claire? Where are you? She's down there. Yeah. So now he's asking me all these questions, And I'm like, ooh, tick tock, tick tock. I have to answer them or else I'm not gonna get the key to the elevator. So I have to have an intimate conversation with this person in order to get my access. That is not cool, people. But this is the reality of so many people with disabilities. Now, you will also hear me go in and out of the phrase people with disabilities and I am disabled because there's person first language and there's identity first language. I am a fan of identity first language because I am a very prideful disabled person. I know you can't even tell that, right? Okay. So ableism, privilege, and intergenerational leadership, leadership in 5G, that is a term that I took from Dr. Nicholas Pierce, who is a professor at Northwestern at Kellogg. And right now, currently, we've got 5 generations in the workforce, right? And for some of you, you know them because in technology, we do things real fast, right? But then you've got someone who is possibly 79, 80, 82, they're not texting. No. You got to have a conversation, a face-to-face one, right? That's how we include those generations. We forget that sometimes. But that particular generation, and I have it somewhere, I'm not going to go through these too much because I have 3 minutes and 41 seconds. I do want to share that one. Yeah, very often, and I think that we created this. You know, we do tend to talk about access as a logistical interaction versus, wow, I really want Karin to come to the party. How are we going to make that happen? Versus compliance and fear. Like, oh my God, if we're not compliant, we're going to get sued. Well, then how about you willingly do what you're supposed to be doing, right? But how often is that willingness? How often does that willingness happen? And that's why people with disabilities got to be like, oh, hey, you might want to build that ramp, and if you don't, well, that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying access is easy, because it's not. It's not, but again, like Doug said, if you start from the beginning, and it's a commitment from your leadership, or for those of you who are entrepreneurs, God, the wealth of information that people who are different can give you and the perspectives will make your organization, your company, and your process so just that much better. Yeah, emotional labor. I'm tired, y'all. Because how often do I have to answer certain questions that are what I want to say, New Jersey Karin, can you just look it up on effing Google? Do your due diligence, and do not expect people who are different to do the work for you. Oh, there's the invoice. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, but let's see. Where's my favorite one? Oh, yeah, there's the one. Explain something about oppression you could have Googled. Mm-hmm. And then, oh, yeah, the fragileness. Whew. I just got to take a moment for that. Okay, and where is it? Oh, this is my all-time favorite, and I think this should be $2,000 over here, but it's only $750. Softened my reaction to spare your feelings. Once again, let us remember I live in Alabama. Okay, I'm going to fly through these. We can look at this later. Okay, this is important. Point at you. Ableism, these are the things that some of us do. When they meet us, they'll say things like, oh, well, how'd you get in that thing? That's always a great approach. That will never get you a second date, for sure. And then when I say something, I broke my back. I was a gymnast when I was 17. So I've been a card-carrying member of this population for 35 years. And when people come to me, so you would think from the age of 17 to now, right, I'm 52, that I may have learned a little something. I may have a little expertise and a little something. But people will often apologize to me about my very existence, discounting anything that is on my resume or any of my accomplishments. Egocentrically, I'm a bit enraged. Spiritually, I'm cool, right? Okay. So, again, do your work. If you're writing a piece on disability, just do your research, right? And then, no, we don't want, PWD stands for Persons with Disabilities. No, we don't want to talk about it all the time. Oh, yeah, insulting medical equipment. Very quickly, I have 13 seconds. Might not be that quick. Anyway, why is it that I can go to the Massage Envy and get on that nice table, and when I gotta go get my shmundi nana, also named vagina, checked, my gynecologist's office is not accessible? New gynecologist, by the way, but anyway, how is that possible? Where are our priorities? Okay, privilege, we know what that is. Here's the leadership in 5G. Yeah, we got to go beyond that. I'm going to talk for about 3 more minutes. What do we need to do? We need to include. We need to develop more leadership opportunities. Y'all can read the slide. For those of you who do not know what y'all is, it's you all in Southern. Had to learn that, by the way. That's how I got to be included, amongst a whole lot of other things. Anyway, yeah. We need to showcase representation matters. The Me Too movement, we had to fight, we meaning women with disabilities, we had to fight to be included in the Women's March. My very dear friend, Mia Ives-Rubley, she's the one who spearheaded that. We didn't show up and were able to march. We had to fight for our place at the seat of the table so we can prepare for that march. Ladies, we have to do better, and we can do better. Okay, yeah, all of these things. And the intersectionality is, when I look at my colleagues who are women of color, from indigenous backgrounds, who also have disabilities, who also identify as gay, and you look at all the intersections, and you look at all the multiple oppressions, because each of those layers comes with its own level of, oh my God. What we're asking you to do is do the work. Do the groundwork, think about it. And when you're using words like access, accessibility, and inclusion, take a good look around, a deep, deep look around, and see who you're not including, really. And try to do that at the beginning, and not at the end where you're going, oh, shit, I forgot about the disabled people. There are so many of us that are here to help you. My ladies in the front, Claire, Erin, I know your director of your center is out here somewhere. They're local. They run a resource center, completely willing to help any one of you who wants to have a deeper knowledge of this space. Yeah, I don't see a lot of pictures of Karin Korb in collateral materials, so I would also like to encourage you, those of you who do graphics or you have a graphic design team, to start putting discernible disabilities into your collateral materials. Because when I see that, I'm like, cool, I'm in, my people are included. I will spend my money with you. Because people, I have money to spend. For example, you should see my shoe closet, and the bitch doesn't walk. Please use your influence responsibly. Thank you very much for the gift of your attention. Thank you so much.